How to lose the victim mentality. This can be kind of a touchy subject for a lot of people, and it's not meant to be harsh in any type of way. What my real desire is with this video is to kind of shine a different perspective, the way you can think about this, that hopefully if you're feeling like this right now, you won't be feeling like this moving forward after watching this. Now, with the victim mentality, I know this can encompass a lot of things. It can encompass things that are seemingly minor to things that are much more vast in scope, that are a lot more serious. And I am not just upfront, I'm not a mental health professional or anything like that. I'm just a dude that cares. And I went through my own struggles in the same capacity. And hopefully if I share this perspective, it's helping you kind of move forward past this in your own way too. Now, I want to talk about the victim mentality kind of as a broad scope. So what I mean by this is anytime in life where you've experienced a hardship or something that you felt set you back, or if you compare yourself to your peers or anybody else around you, you feel as if you're not in the same place in life. You didn't get the same head start, advantages, support, you name it. It can really be a lot of different things that fall into this. The issue is that a lot of times you're right. Maybe you didn't have some type of advantage or some type of, level starting field as people around you, but that doesn't mean that you can go back and change that. And so when you think about the victim mentality, this is when we get caught in this loop of saying, okay, well, I can't do this because this is where I started. I can't, get better financial literacy because I didn't have money growing up. I can't get better at sports because I wasn't born with great genetics where I'm good at endurance or strength or something like that. I can't become a doctor or a lawyer or something that requires a lot of focus and intelligence because I didn't have books growing up. I didn't have the chance to sit there and read because I had to work. There's so many ways that you can spin this, and chances are if you're watching a video like this, there's some type of struggle that you have either went through recently or something you've felt most of your entire life. And that's an important point to make because a lot of times I think people assume that when you get older at some point, it's just going to go away. You're not going to think like this anymore. But time and time again, I've seen people get caught in this same trap where it's you're maybe in your 50s or 60s, you're later in life, and you're still saying the same thing that you said when you were 15, 20, 25. It may not seem like it's something that will stay with you your whole life, but until you have that moment to kind of snap yourself out of it, you can very easily get stuck into this repeating pattern where it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The things that you say that you can't do, or that you don't have the advantage to be, or because of the shortcomings you had before, eventually, if you say this enough and give it enough time, you're going to make it come true because you're not jumping in there to make that difference. So something that was really helpful for me with thinking about this perspective was kind of a line that I heard a while back. And it's asking yourself this question: name one time that blaming something else made you any better. It's hard to find an answer to this because typically it doesn't, right? So you can't have the desire to change and also cast blame at the same time. You have to pick one because these two ideas are directly opposing each other. It's like a little pull and tug. You're going to be pulled in one direction and pulled in the other. And so chances are, if you're watching a video like this, there's some part of you that does want to change, right? You want to get better moving forward. You don't want to feel like this anymore. You just don't know how. The first step and the most important step is to stop casting blame. And I'm not saying you weren't right. I think that it's perfectly fine for you to be right, but that acknowledgement and that acceptance of that is how you move forward. And so if you grew up and you didn't have a loving household and things, and now you're saying, okay, well, my parents didn't care and love for me and such, and now all of a sudden my relationships are bad. I don't know how to date somebody. I don't know how to treat them right and things too, right? That's one way. Like, hey, my friends and people didn't support me when I wanted to go play my sports games or go to my activity or my dance, recital or whatever it may be. And so now I have a hard time being friends with people or being there to support them. I can't do that because I didn't get it myself. I kind of talked about the reading and intelligence things earlier too. So it's like, people didn't give me the resources, the books that I needed to study growing up. So therefore I had a slow start. I didn't keep up with my peers. And now I can't get that job that I want. I can't, study and learn and do these things that are important to me to get what I want now. It's just what happened to me, right? You can do this with just about anything that you have going on in your life. And so whatever it is that's specifically happening to you right now, or something you feel like you've been holding on to for a long time, think about that, right? So think about what it is that you've been saying to yourself, what you want to do and why you haven't done it. a lot of times it comes down to us still continuing to get stuck in this phase where we're casting blame, but we're not getting to the point where we accept it and letting our desire for change be stronger than the blame we cast. So I believe that there's certainly a spot where you can be right about what you're saying, but because you're right, it's now upon you to move forward and change that. As much as we wish that we could look back in the past and change things, this is just something that's not possible. Unless you have time machine invented, it's like you can't do that. And if you have a time machine invented, please let me know. I'm trying to go back and get my lottery numbers so I can go win some money and just coast off and build a cabin in the woods somewhere and just kind of relax and things. But, in all seriousness, I think that when you think about this victim mentality, it's a very easy, kind of trap of things to get stuck into. And nothing makes me more sad than seeing someone get stuck in that. And while they're constantly blaming and thinking about things that happened to them, you're not necessarily looking forward to the beauty of life and what it is that you can tap into and use for yourself. Everybody has this certain level of inherent strength within us, and it's sometimes hard to kind of find this. I get that, and I'm not saying all this just looking as an outsider looking into, people that deal with these things. I've dealt with some of these difficulties and things in my life too. But that's exactly what tells me that you're a strong person watching this, because every time you deal with a hardship or something that you feel like you're not starting off even with other people, or that there's something that made it harder for you in life, every time you overcome that, you gain this other tier of strength that I can't describe to you in this video. You have to experience it yourself. But once you do, and you do it once and twice, 3 times, and keep going, you realize how strong you are as an individual, how confident you can be, and where that can really take you in life. For myself, what made it hard for me and what I blamed my whole life was the relationship I had with my father. And my father's a very accomplished person. He's set out and done a lot of great things in his life, very successful in things on paper, but that success comes at a price, right? So it comes at sacrifice of hours with the family, time, and things too. And sometimes by the time that parent retires from an occupation, you've already kind of moved on. You've learned how to live your life, and you don't necessarily feel like you need that type of guidance and things anymore. But it's difficult growing up where you feel like you're in a one-parent household and you don't have that support. You don't have the people at your games. You don't always have the lessons or the hand-holding or the praise or any of these things too. I get it. For a long part of my life, I held on to these things, and I let it be the reason why I couldn't move forward, why I couldn't be better, why I couldn't learn, why I couldn't tap into my full potential. So I get it. If you're in this constant loop where you feel like there's this thing you keep coming back to and saying, this is the reason why I can't do blank, I get it. I spent a lot of time of my life doing that too. I can tell you that never once did it make me any better. Right? It just gave me a reason to feel like I could justify my lack of progress and success in the moment. It didn't actually help me move forward to do what I actually wanted to do. And that was the desire for change, for getting better in the way that I saw fit. So if you're still here watching this with me, I really do encourage you to kind of take a moment for yourself, ask yourself, is blaming whatever the situation is on whatever the reason may be, is that making you any better? Or is that keeping you stuck? And if it's keeping you stuck, then congratulations. You've now acknowledged one of the hardest things to do. You have said exactly what the reason is. And now you're at a place where you can start to move forward. Take your time with it. It's never an easy journey, no matter what it is you're dealing with. But I promise you on the other side, things do get better. So if this helped you out, please go and drop me a comment. Let me know. Please like and subscribe. And I'll see you all here in the next one. Take care for now. Peace.